What's up, FutureDDS family? Today we have two very, very special guests to talk to us about something that we feel like isn't mentioned that much.
Not enough.
Not enough, honestly. It's something that all of us, well, at least me and Terrell, learned about when we got into school, and it's something that really has a huge impact on our careers, and that is advocacy. So we have two of our colleagues here today to kind of break down what advocacy is and how it's going to impact us as future dentists and how it impacts the community in general. So if you all could please introduce yourselves and let our audience know who you all are and where you're from, what year you are, things like that.
Cool. Hi, my name is Sho Taniguchi. I am a third year here at Tufts, and I am originally from Arizona.
How's it going, y'all? I'm JP, third year here at Tufts, originally born and raised in Houston, Texas, and living up here in Boston.
And so really quickly, can you all tell us like your roles within advocacy at Tufts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So JP and I are in ASDA, which is the American Student Dental Association, which is essentially the student version of the ADA, or the American Dental Association. So this organization supports all the dental students across the United States, and there's many branches within ASDA, and one of them is Advocacy, which is what we're in. I'm one of the advocacy co-chairs. JP is one of the legislative liaisons, and we're just kind of promoting what advocacy is about at our school and getting students involved, and really just talking about how advocacy really impacts us dental students, as well as our profession, as well as, most importantly, our patients.
Okay, so for anyone out there who may not be abreast of what advocacy really means, especially in the realm of like dentistry, dental students, could you explain a little bit more what advocacy really is, or give examples of you being an advocate for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So most people, when they think of advocacy, they're thinking bills, legislation, Congress, which we do deal with that, but we also deal with a lot more than that. We talk about social barriers to access to care, economics, dental student loans, even licensure reform that affects all of us here and now, and then also spanning through our entire career. So it's not just bills. We talk about money, we talk about our patients.
Okay.
Wraps up everything.
Okay. And so, I know I've seen a whole bunch of different advocacy boards around our school, and I think that you all do a great job promoting advocacy to us as students. But something I've always wanted to ask both of you all is, Grant, I think you just kind of mentioned it a little bit, JP. What or how important is it that we as dental students are involved in advocacy in the future and even right now?
So that's a really important question, and it's a really good point. So how does it really impact us? So as dental students, we are paying so much for our school tuition, and eventually, we have this looming debt in our head, and we're thinking about how do we pay this back? Or when we're eventually as dentists, we're gonna have to work with the insurance companies. How is the insurance companies dictating what we can do, and how's that impacting our patients? That all of that is really important, and how we actually practice as dentists. And that's why it's really important that we know this information now, so that we're well armed and well prepared in the future, not just as clinicians, but to really advocate for our patients, and for us as dental students to know that, so that we are better prepared, as well as we don't have this financial burden that is impacting every single student in the United States, and impacting us in how we practice. So I think that's why advocacy is crucial, and that we know it now, so that we don't just get so bogged down on just the clinical stuff during our school years.
You spoke about bills and legislative changes. So what kind of impact can a student actually make? Like, is it on the day-to-day boots, like ground level? Like, what kind of changes can a student that's really committed make?
Absolutely. So it's hard to kind of see the long shot on this, because it's not like you're doing a filling in class and clinic. You're not taking a childhood tooth and presenting it to someone. These things take time to educate people, because we're talking to people who they don't know what dentistry is or what it means. They go to the dentist, they get the checkup, they go home, they get a crown, whatever. They don't understand all the inner workings, so it's our job to kind of help educate them. And so even as dentists now, there's opportunities to go to your state and local government and talk to representatives there, get the word out, because they don't know what's happening. So it's our duty as dental professionals to educate them and hear our concerns. So you can get involved there, and even at the national level. ASDA sponsors students to go out there and talk to these legislators to get the word out there and let us get our voices heard.
Okay.
And so I have another question, and this is kind of for potential dental students in the future. We know that you all are extremely busy, and I think that everybody's time, especially dental students' time, is very, very special, and you have to be very, very cognizant of what you spend your time on. So, when you pursue these advocacy, these different titles or these different positions within student advocacy, what have you all gotten from it? What would make somebody who might be interested, but they might be looking at something else, like what's something that you can personally say, I got this from advocacy or being within this realm of advocacy, and I really appreciated it, and it's made me a better professional overall.
So what really made that helped me out is like so JP was mentioning about lobbying in Capitol Hill. So I actually have the experience of going twice and going up to Washington DC, getting trained on the certain bills that are on the floor that really pertains to our patients and our profession and us dental students as well, and had the opportunity to talk to representatives, their staffers, and tell them this is an issue that's really affecting us. And to be honest, they don't know it. They don't know that, for example, at Tufts, we have a lot of students that compare to the national average. They don't know that the interest rate is really high. It's not 3.5% like undergraduate students. It's 6 to 7%. They don't know that we can't borrow subsidized loans. We can only borrow unsubsidized loans. So once we educate these staffers, they're all like, wait, really? Like, I didn't know about this. And when we kind of educate them, I felt in a way empowered because they didn't know and we're educating them, and they felt like, it seemed like they were actually listening to our concerns from a dental student perspective, but then from a profession aspect, as a dentist, they don't know what we do. They just assume, like what JP said, it's just fillings, cleanings, exams. They don't know what is going on in the back scene for a dentist so that they can, restore a patient's smile. So I think that was a really key moment that made me realize, wow, advocacy is awesome. This is fun.
And so we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. We talked about this off camera. Do you think that this is like we can really make an impact as students? We always hear about this boys club being dentistry. Are we really able to make a change?
Absolutely, 100%. They always say that true change kind of comes from grassroots efforts, getting people organized. It's easy to say no to one person, or easy to maybe even 10 people. But when you have thousands of people kind of banding together and saying, this is what's right, this is what needs to be done, and this is how we can change it, you can get change to go through. It might not be next week, but things can happen pretty quick if it's for the common good.
Great.
We were talking about, if students wanted to get involved possibly, but what are some things, I guess, or what are some ways that students can actually get involved? Somebody that might be watching the video and wants to get involved where they're at in their local government, or maybe, like you said, go to the national lobby day. Like, how could they do it? Or
So, coming into dental school, like y'all, I didn't know anything about advocacy, but looking out for the posters and emails from our local ASDA chapter, that's like the #1 first place to start. Talk to your ASDA chapter, they'll get you hooked up with their advocacy team. Beyond that, check out your state dental association. So here in Massachusetts, we've got the MDS, another great resource. They have student memberships and always happy to help out. And then from there, you can also work out to the national level for the national ASDA, or even the ADA will help you out in getting involved.
Okay, great. And do you all have any resources for the audience so that if they do want to get some more information about advocacy, they can reach out and kind of have something to look at?
Yeah, definitely. So you guys can all go Google ASDA, American Student Dental Association, or just type up asdanet.org, and all the resources about being a dental student is up in there, as well as a section on advocacy and what are the key things that ASDA discusses about within the advocacy realm.
Okay, great. All right, and we'll definitely put a link to some resources within the description box below. But JP, Show, thank you all so much. We appreciate you all's time. We know that y'all are busy. You know, JP's on his strokes. Just
Fresh out of clinic.
but everybody, like we said, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe and follow us at _FutureDDS on Instagram. And I mean, if you all have any more questions for JP or Show, you know, just leave them in the comment box and we'll reach back out to them and make sure that they get those answers for you all.
But yeah, subscribe, notification bell, hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the like button if you like this video and let us know so we can make more videos like this.
Right now.
Active.
Hey, active. Get active.
Be proactive, y'all. But we'll see y'all next time.
All right, now.